How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Marvel Bros, where we cover all things Marvel and everything pop culture. My name is Battery CEO, and this is Sensei Finito.
That
What are we
is
doing?
right, yo. And today we are doing a watch party, and we're going to be doing a little bit of discussion afterwards, of course, of What If. This is
Oh, yes.
episode 7. What if Thor were an only child, yo?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. But before we get into that, please make sure to follow us on all of our social medias at Marvel Bros 23 on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and our YouTube channel where we post all of our content and much more.
That's right. And you can check us out on our website at www.marvelbros.com, where we are live right now with this as well. And you can also purchase some of our merchandise to help out what we do here, or donate if you want to. You know, it's up to you. And you can definitely join our Discord, where we always have popping conversations, like all the time. So
Oh, yes.
make sure you guys join and follow along. And what is up with that, Andrew?
Yo, how's
How
it
are
going?
you doing, man? I'm so ready for What If. We're about to get it started, everyone. I'm pumped, bro. Are you pumped? What are you expecting from this episode, man?
Bro, I never even thought about what would happen if Thor was an only kid. You know?
I agree.
I've only ever really thought about, well, okay, what if Loki was like an only child, you know? But that's only because like he's part frost giant, you know. I feel like there's precedent there, you know, and I feel like that's something they've done in the comics before as well. And I'm sure this is probably one too. I just didn't. I just wasn't privy to it, privy to it at all, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see how this one's going to turn out, man.
Yeah, same, man. And I think we should just dive right on into this, yo. If you guys are tuning in right now and you have Disney Plus and all that good stuff, the link is now being dropped in the chat. So if you guys want to watch with us, you can, or you can just press play when we press play, which is going to be in 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's get it.
Oh. All right, come on. Here we go.
The amazing intro, of course. Oh, shit. The amazing intro that we all know and have come to love.
I know. I'm so excited to see if there's any changes. Because it seems like we're getting more and more
Of the
content
Watcher.
from the Watcher, you know. So I'm interested to see his intro in this one. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
The amazing intro, yo. This is just so beautiful. Just every intro that they have is amazing so far.
Oh, cat. Oh my gosh. They're all in this.
No, it's been like this every time, I think, hasn't it?
Maybe. Oh, you know what? I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's a lot of people that. Is that his vision? His vision.
Bro. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. They did it to us again, bro. They still did it, even though it was a cohesive story in. Oh my God. Bro, that was the dopest.
But because of what happened, no one stopped Ultron. Wait, no, not even the Avengers got together, right?
No, we have no idea. We literally have no idea.
Wow, bro. Okay. As a whole episode, how do you feel?
I feel as a whole episode that was the best filler that we could have got. I feel like it was a filler episode, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it was literally one of the best filler episodes that we could have got. Like that was way better than the Guardians of the Galaxy episode for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel the same way. If I'm being honest though, this is my least favorite episode so far.
Like even next to the Guardians of the Galaxy one?
I like that one more than I did this one.
Really?
However, the end saved it for me. With that said, the end kind of brings it around full circle. With that said, I feel like it did. It definitely was the best filler episode we could have gotten. So I'll give it props there. Um, I did love how it was probably the one episode that has had more Easter eggs than all the other
Yeah, I
episodes
really like that as
combined.
well.
And even then, you have to multiply it to even get to the number of Easter eggs that were in that episode.
This episode, yeah.
Um, wow, I wasn't expecting to see Ultron like that.
Yeah,
I was
that
thinking Eternals, and all of a sudden, I was like, oh my god, it's Ultron. Then it's
I was
Ultron
like,
with
yo,
all the stones, bro.
that's not
Oh
just
my
Ultron.
god,
That's like the Ultron from like the game Marvel versus Capcom. Like that's how that's how he looks in
yeah,
that game. Like,
yeah.
bro, yeah, that was really crazy. Like they with the Infinity Stones, basically absorbed into
Mhm.
him. Yeah, bro, that was
Do you
that
think we'll
right
get?
there was awesome.
Do you think we'll get an Ultron episode next? Like the origins to that?
I hope so.
Because that'd be pretty cool. That'd be a cool way to link
Those
it.
Ultron bots they were in that trailer thing that the dude wanted us to watch.
Mm, they were.
Remember we were like, oh no, we don't want to see that. So
Yeah.
that did actually come back to spoil something. I don't know. Could you imagine if that's the thing that that makes all of these shows cohesive? Is freaking Ultron coming through with all the Infinity Stones? Because he had all 6 Infinity Stones,
Yeah, he did.
and
And it was Vision as
yeah,
well.
it was Vision Ultron. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Visiontron, and then he still had all the Ultron bots though. So
Man, I'm
I
thinking like
guess technically, I mean, I just don't know. I mean, Vision could still be made because even in the comic books, Thor doesn't have anything to do with him being made. Really, Hank Pym makes him. Ant-Man makes Ultron in the
it
comic
might
books.
be that he's from a different uh universe, but he's so powerful he can do whatever he wants with the stones, and he's hopping universe to
Mm,
universe, you know, uh destroying and taking over and really kind of following his vision in terms of what he wanted to do. Um, you know, and I think that's a cool
mhm.
segue and a cool way to bring all these episodes together. Um,
Yeah.
and instead of Thanos being the main villain, it's really Ultron, who's really kind of the one that's like, I'm going to be the next big guy in this show. And I think that's what that alluded to, unless that's just all we're getting. And that was just a tease. I'd feel assaulted.
Yeah, I'd feel
I,
insulted as well. I
I'd
think, like we
feel,
keep saying, we're gonna see. I think we'll see a lot of these come back in the next season. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Because there is. I mean, we could see more what ifs with the following phase, so to speak. You know
mhm,
what I mean? Like what ifs with Shang-Chi and
yeah.
what ifs with like Moon Knight or something like that. I don't know. You know what I mean? But we could see a lot of what ifs come. But I think personally, I would rather see the continuation of these stories because
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really loving how the Watcher is becoming so cohesive in all of these stories. Like the Watcher is just so he's like, man, he's one of the only thing, well, not one of, but he is like the only thing that's super cohesive with each and every story is the way he's viewing it, and he becomes more and more tangible episode by episode.
And it was interesting because he didn't even know about Ultron, and he's the one that sees all,
Yeah, and he was like,
which is
oh,
wild to think about. How
yeah, because he
no,
was like, "Oh, everything's all good," or maybe it's not. Like he was like,
like
what is
wait,
this?"
what? Like he was thrown off. So uh, I'm curious to know how that's going to affect him moving forward in the show.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I forgot we're on it together. I was just trying to see. Look at that!
yeah,
Whoa, that looks fire. That looks so fire right
yeah.
there.
Apologize. Been a long day. But yeah, man, I just ever after. Yeah, see, look, he was like, wait,
Yeah, he
what?
was actually confused. Yeah. Look at
Why does he
that,
have 6
yo.
stones?
Huh?
Wait, is there 6 stones or 5 stones?
No, there's 6, yo.
Okay. I was looking to make sure. I
Because
was like,
there's
wait a
one on
minute.
each hand, and then there's one in the middle.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Man, what do you guys think about this episode, man? Let us know in the comments how
Look
you
at
guys
that.
felt. Yeah, that's pretty
That
legendary
is
right
freaking
here.
raw, bro. Like this, and then
Like,
the one like a little bit beforehand. Like this whole scene right here is fire. Like,
oh dear, perhaps I spoke too soon.
look at that.
bro.
Oh,
Dear, perhaps
I want this
spoke
right
too
here.
soon.
I want that as a background. That is fire right there.
Do you think we'll see this in person, live action? I doubt we
Honestly,
will. For like,
I would love to see it live action. I think
yeah.
that would warm my heart because what is it called? His name is like Ultron Supreme or something. He
Isn't he the one that was actually made of vibranium? Or no?
yeah. Ultron.
Wait, I thought he was made of vibranium. No, he wasn't.
His new body was made of vibranium. The one that freaking
They almost took over. Yeah.
yes. The one he almost took over. Okay, but real quick, this is not what I was looking for, but this freaking picture right here is crazy amazing. And I would have loved to see something like this right here. Yo, look at that, bro.
That'd be pretty dope.
Bro.
That would be dope. Real Wade has it going.
Oh my gosh, my bad, bro. Jesus. Real Wade, how you doing, G? My man said, opinion on Star Wars Vision. We have not seen Star Wars Vision. We actually watched this instead of Star Wars Vision. I low-key feel like we should have watched Star Wars Visions instead.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like they purposely made this a filler episode because they knew Star Wars Visions was dropping today.
Yeah. But don't worry, we're gonna bring you guys our Star Wars Visions content pretty soon here, probably tomorrow. We're not sure if we're gonna do the whole thing in one go or do it maybe 1 episode, 2 episodes. We don't know. We haven't figured it out yet, but we're definitely gonna be giving you guys that content coming up. So just stay tuned for that. Keep an eye out for that. We're pretty excited for it, man. I'm excited. How are you feeling about Visions, man?
Oh, I'm pretty freaking pumped. Looking at them right now, they're all short episodes. Most of them are 15 minutes.
Oh, so we were
one
right.
of the longest ones. Yeah, one of the longest ones is 23 minutes. That's how we initially thought What If was going to be, but they bamboozled us and gave us like 30, 45 minutes episode a piece.
Yeah.
So Star Wars Visions, though, like we expected to have 15 to 20, 25 minutes. Like that was the range that we were expecting, and that seems to be the range of them. I think the longest one that I did see is 23 minutes because I just kind of scrolled over to look at the time. Yeah, the longest episode is 23 minutes.
How many episodes? 10?
There are 9 episodes, actually.
Episodes, okay.
9 episodes in all. And hey, man, it looks really good. It looks like it has a good pacing to them as well from the trailers, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
The episode 1 is really good. Real Raid Nation said that's awesome.
Okay.
I mean, they are short, so that's cool. We might be able to go live or something and watch like all of them since they're so short, or something like that, and then talk about it. But yeah, I think this episode of What If, it was a good episode. I'm happy that we got a filler, so to speak, like this. Because now I feel like there's no choice but to have these last couple of episodes really be like bangers.
And it lightened the mood up because the last couple episodes were like, wow,
bro, been freaking
like
cradled
they've
position, been dark. What was it? It was Doctor Strange, then no, it was Ant-Man killing the Avengers. That was the first one that really started the darkness.
Downhill.
Yeah. And then we had Doctor Strange. And then after Doctor Strange, what was that one? Was that zombies?
Yes.
And then after the zombies one last week, which was also another dark one with Killmonger. Yeah, bro. So we had 4 back-to-back dark universe bangers. I'd like to say, yo. And I hope we get to see some live action darkness like that. Like I'm hoping that's what we're getting from Doctor Strange, because that's kind of been the goal that we've been hearing like ever since it was announced that this is going to be like one of the craziest, the scariest, the darkest ones that we've seen yet. So do you think we're going to see this kind of grit that we've seen from What If in this Doctor Strange movie? Or do you think that it's going to take them a little bit more time to bring that to a live action like stance?
Well, I mean, even before, before in the early days of the marketing for Doctor Strange, we were told this movie's going to be a horror movie. This movie's going to be scary at its core, and it's going to be the first of many to test that boundary. With that said, What If I think has done a perfect job of testing that boundary in terms of how dark they want to go. Zombies is a great example of it.
Yeah.
And like we've even heard that them doing the zombies was a test to see how people would react for a live action later on. And that's straight from a Marvel producer that, so that's pretty credible. So
I think he was the producer of that episode. He was like the one behind the creation of the Marvel Zombies episode.
Yeah.
So
and
that,
but like with Doctor Strange specifically, I don't think it's far fetched for me to say I think we might see Ultimate Doctor Strange in live action, whether that be maybe he shows up.
Strange Supreme?
Strange Supreme, yeah. Maybe he shows up.
Yeah.
For like a short period of time, or maybe we see him in the background watching. I feel like that's something that's definitely possible, because like, I mean, technically we still don't necessarily know how the What If's going to affect our live action MCU, but with Eternals, Hawkeye, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, with all those coming up, I think we're going to start seeing some connections between what we see in What If to what we see in MCU. And I think we just have to, it's only a matter of time before we see characters from one or the other coming in both directions. And I'm excited to find out how that's going to happen.
I couldn't agree completely. And something that, with what you just said, though, I never even thought about the live action characters, so to speak, being the ones that show up in the What Ifs. You know what I mean? Like, what if when the Watcher is putting the team together, so to speak, he actually grabs someone from the MCU, like Loki. Maybe maybe he gets like our Loki that we know now versus the Loki that we saw then. You know what I mean? And he puts him with the multiverse or whatever. I think we're in a good place to where anything is possible now. Yeah. Like, it would be awesome to even see, like, could you okay. Real question. Would you want to see what ifs that pertain to the already established X-Men universe?
X-Men universe?
Yeah, like Wolverine. Like, what if Wolverine didn't get adamantium? Or like, what if, you know what I mean? Like, and it play out that type of the X-Men universe,
like
but
full
still
movies, or like
no, I mean like no, like this, like the like how we have this What If, but an X-Men version of what we've seen from the X-Men universe, because they're all their movies is their own universe as well.
I think that'd be a great marketing tactic as well. With that said, that's a lot of capital and something that might be irrelevant,
that's true.
But I think that'd be cool for us as fans. But in terms of money, I don't think there's a whole lot of benefit to do that.
Like, what if Wolverine met Iron Man? Like, what if
unless they did stuff like that?
Yeah, like,
to kind of get us to maybe start building lore in terms of bringing in the X-Men into the MCU. That I see that, but I don't think just utilizing the old stuff and telling us different stories would be beneficial for the MCU.
But would you want to see it though? Like, what? Not necessarily. I'm not talking about necessarily a beneficial one, and I'm not even talking about them trying to weave the X-Men in with the MCU. Not even, so to speak. I'm talking more on just out of the universe that they created, that Fox created with the X-Men. You know, X-Men 1 to X-Men Last Stand, and then going to Few Days of Future Past to Logan and all of that. Just if they were to give us
I think it'd be fun.
I think it would be fun as well.
I think they could fix some of the mistakes they made in those movies with doing it with it. You know what I mean? With that said, though, I really love the first 3 movies. I think 2 is the best out of the 3. 2 is just, I don't know what, for some reason I just resonate with that one a whole lot.
I think we've talked about this multiple times as well. Like 2 is 2 is
really
definitely
good.
our favorite. Yeah,
3 is dope too, but it's a lot. A lot happens in 3.
Yeah.
But I think this episode. Okay, I'm going to start speculating in terms of what I think is going to happen next episode.
Okay, let's do it.
The fact that the Watcher didn't know what was happening scares him. And I think, like you mentioned before, he's going to bring a team together. And I think that's why there's that Avengers moments. But instead of Thanos' troops, they're Ultron that they're fighting. And so he brings characters from the past episodes we've gotten to come together to fight this new threat that has never happened before. So
I could definitely see that,
and I think that's what we're going. I'm just spitballing here. If they actually,
I agree,
and they might, and 99% sure the possibility they're also just bamboozling us. That was just a badass tease to disrespect us, you know. But on the off chance,
could you imagine like the next episode is last time on What If, and it's like him talking about everything, and then he like gives us a brief overview of everything we've seen up until now, and then he starts just like portals just start opening as he just comes in and super tangible, actual person, not see-through at all, and he's like, "Yo, I'm picking you up, let's go." Freaking last episode ends with them jumping through a portal, talking to Doctor Strange. Yo, freaking down.
Because in reality, that type of Ultron's strong enough to kill the Watcher.
That's what I was thinking as well. Because Ultron is I think Ultron is way more of a threat than Thanos was. Like, to be completely honest, like Ultron with the Infinity Gauntlet versus Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, I would be more scared of Ultron. Because he just, the level of like his thinking and everything is going to be super different. Like, it's just going to be super twisted and dark. And versus Thanos, who thinks he's right about whatever it is he's going for, versus this robot dude that's like the evil Tony Stark, basically. And I would love to see like the kind of damage that Ultron could actually, like put down on everyone.
Real Wade.
So I can skip this. I can skip this episode.
Technically, you can.
I mean, honestly, I don't think we can say that you can skip it without knowing if it actually matters in the grand scheme of what's going on.
I think the way they told us makes it worth it. Like the way they built up and made us get really excited and happy, like, oh, we're finally having an upbeat episode for once. And then at the very end, psych, and then give us something that none of us ever even thought about ever seeing. You know,
I think
they kind of built us up to that.
I think honestly, seeing Captain Marvel fight Thor is like one of the only reasons to watch this.
That was one of the coolest fight scenes we've ever.
That was one of the coolest fight scenes, yo. Like it felt like an anime almost. Like it was like next level. So on that note alone, you should watch this episode so you can really get to consume that fight scene with it, like it in its whole entirety of freaking sheer amazingness. Because they could have just dragged that fight out and we would have been way more happier. You know what I mean? Like
it was them awesome. Fighting most of the time, and then all of a sudden, like Ultron shows up in the middle of them fighting, and they both turn their head like, what? And
that would have been amazing.
Like that would have been pretty cool.
I mean, this or all of Star Wars Vision, we haven't even seen any of it, so we can't.
Yeah, I don't know. A whole week. You have a week, so if you really wanted to, you could watch all the Visions, and then come back to finish this episode.
I felt from the trailer Foster was wasted. That's one of the reasons why we kind of try to stay away from the trailers, because they
Yeah,
can dampen your expectations or they can raise them too high. How did you feel overall about Jane
I feel
Foster?
like they definitely affected her character's personality, unless that's really how she was. I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm just not used to seeing her in the MCU because like she's only in there Thor 1, Thor 2. I don't even know if she's in Thor 3. Uh, and I just don't remember her as a character, and it might be I just have to rewatch the first two.
Mhm.
Um, but like I didn't feel like that was the Jane Foster that we have in the MCU. And it might be because of the way that she meets Thor in the MCU that really makes her who she
Mm.
is. I'm not entirely sure, but I didn't feel like that was Jane Foster. I could be completely wrong, um, but I'm not sure how she's in the comics. But um, I just didn't feel it.
I mean, yes and no. You know what I'm saying? Like she
Mhm.
did. Um, it did seem like the same Jane Foster, but we didn't have the same Thor. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So the Jane Foster that we would have like come to understand, she wouldn't have manifested that way dealing with Thor. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Because of how he was. So her entire thing is different. So
hmm
like Darcy was basically the same because she's just
yeah.
Darcy.
She
You know what I
felt
mean?
yeah. She was pretty. I guess I don't know. I don't know if this is the right word to say it, but the most respectful rendition of that character. I thought.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. I agree. And I think I don't know. I liked it all. I couldn't it was super I liked it, but it was just really
Hmm
freaking cheesy, I think. I think it was like a
Oh no,
little bit too cheesy
it
in
definitely was
certain
cheesy. It was
aspects.
definitely a more fun episode. Probably the funnest episode we've
Like
gotten.
almost corny cheesy though. Like you know what I mean?
Hmm
Like whoa, like when they had my man Nick Fury go out like that, bruh. It was just like you couldn't help but laugh, but at the same time it
Yeah,
was like, bro, this is freaking stupid.
yeah,
Like it was like, bro, this is dumb. Like I think they made funny dumb decisions. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't think they made it like serious. I think one of the fucking coolest things that they did was show us Loki as a frost giant, bro.
That was pretty
That
dope.
right there was impeccable. Like I couldn't handle
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that, and it's cool because we haven't really seen Loki in that environment or in that type of setup before. Um,
it. Mhm.
and I thought that was really cool. And it might have been that he just needed to be around his people to be able to learn how to do that or to
I think
grow
Frigga
differently.
used the magic that kept him from
Oh, you're
actually
right.
utilizing
You're right.
everything that he should have been
Yeah,
doing. Yeah.
that's true. Um, and I liked how it added more to Frigga's character in terms of like how I don't want to call her ruthless, but how scary she could be as a
Yeah. Did you
mom.
notice how everyone knew who she was? Like
Yeah.
everyone was like, "What
She even
Frigga?"
knew Captain Marvel, which was weird.
That was weird. Yeah.
I want to know how that
I
is.
mean, it is weird, but at the same time, when you really think about it, Thor kind of knew about all the stuff that was going. Like he knows about the Nova Corps. He knew about
Yeah.
that already. He knows about Groot and all these different things. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I guess it kind of makes sense for Frigga, wife of Odin, to know about a super powerful person that's going around and saving people,
Yeah.
basically from the other realms or whatever you
Yeah.
want to say.
That's definitely a good point. And, if you're king of all nine realms, you're definitely gonna know if someone's really
You're
kind of putting in work and making your job easier. And you're like, okay, okay.
You're gonna know if someone is as strong as your son, basically, because
Especially, yeah,
her and
especially,
Thor were on par with each
yeah,
other's strength.
especially if you have someone like Heimdall in your back pocket. So,
Hmm.
uh, but I loved how they used Captain Marvel. I thought that was the same Captain Marvel within the
Yes,
MCU. I thought that was
Maria
really
Hill
cool.
as well.
Maria Hill, yep. I was kind of shocked she was prepared to just nuke him. But
Oh yeah, she didn't give a. But Maria Hill is ruthless like that in the comic books as well.
yeah,
She's like way more ruthless than Nick Fury is. Like Nick
mhm,
Fury is ruthless, but he's strategic.
yeah,
She's just ruthless, like period. Like
mhm,
nah, let's just kill him just in case. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like That's really that was pretty on par with how she is, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Um, I wonder if we're gonna get to see Maria Hill take any type of role continuing in the MCU. What do you think?
I'm sure she will. I think she's an important character in the MCU. She's come back multiple times.
Mhm.
Um, we're just gonna have to figure out how she was utilized during the blip or during the snap. I think she disappeared. That's right.
Yeah,
Um, we'll have to see how she was utilized after the blip when everyone came back. How she uh, helped Nick Fury either with sword or with shield. Is she with Nick
Mm.
Fury? Those are things that
Oh
we
yeah,
need to
that's
figure
true
out.
because the last thing we seen from her was that she was a scroll
Yeah.
with
So we
Nick
don't even know
Fury,
where
so
she's
we
at.
never even exactly.
But I love her character, so I'm really excited to see where she goes. I'm also really curious to see what happens to Sharon. Am I upset that they did her the way they did her in Falcon Winter Soldier? Yes, but I want to know if they actually retconned her, like they said they probably
I
would.
think
I don't know.
I don't think that I think that they should keep it going with her being like the villain, so to
The
speak,
villain,
and then let her show up with Dark Avengers somehow. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Being part of that team with Valentina and all of that. What is
Hmm.
up with it, Nick?
Hey, how's it going?
Nikki G Fly. Can we talk about Vision at the end? What the fuck, bro? That is exactly what we were talking about. Yo, Vision was looking amazing. Ultron, really, Ultron.
Hmm.
That was definitely Ultron, but with the Vision body.
With the Vision body and armor, so maybe he in where he came from took out Thanos, used his own armor. And that's why we have
Mm.
Gamora as Thanos' substitute, you know? And that's part of the reason
Ooh.
why I think the Watcher realized how big of a threat he is, going out looking for people to help figure out and save, I guess you could say, the universe from
Yo,
this big of a
that was
threat.
a damn good theory right there, bro. And
I'm telling you,
I'm not
bro.
gonna lie, I'm jumping on that
I'm
bandwagon
telling you
immediately,
right now,
bro.
bro.
That was perfect, bro.
I
That
see the
is like
future. I
that
see the
was
future.
like
You know this.
freaking perfect, bro.
Yeah.
I really believe that that is what's gonna happen now, yo, because
Yeah.
that's what makes sense. Ultron comes, like that Thanos collects all of the Infinity Stones, but Ultron just comes and smacks him and just takes them from him because he's like, bruh, it doesn't matter how strong you are. I'm a robot. Like, it doesn't even
Yeah.
matter. You can't hurt me, bro. I'm just gonna keep coming back. And then no doubt he already had all of his Ultron drones as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
man. I see that. I see that definitely
All right.
occurring.
Hear me out.
Bro, that's
I
awesome.
even have a little bonus to add on to that. Okay.
Okay,
In
let's
terms of
drop it on
how it
them.
came about, what if Tony didn't turn immediately during the zombie situation and he ended up using Jarvis to try and create a vision to send a soldier around the world to fight these zombies that can't turn, and in doing
Mm.
so, he created a vision that he created Ultron, and that Ultron ultimately was ultimately able to make everything he wanted possible and
I can
kill
see
zombie
that.
Thanos for all the stones, and
Oh,
here
I
we
see
are,
what you're saying.
and here we
Yeah.
are, you know. Um,
Yo, that was freaking crazy. The Gauntlet already had the stones on Asgard in this episode, remember? So Ultron must have traced Thor's signal and went to Asgard. That
that
is
was
true. I was trying to figure out why they decided to implement the fake gauntlet that was
yeah, because
already
that
in all
yeah,
the
that gauntlet
other
is fake.
ones. That's something that I definitely was in. I was when they walked past it, I was like, so they didn't retcon that, like, because even in the other episodes, they've retconned the characters as being the other characters, like
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo being the same Hulk, even though it was in the 2008 era,
Mhm.
and Don Cheadle still being the War Machine, even though technically we
Yeah,
would have had
I forget his name.
damn, I can't think of his name either. But we would have had him. And then so when I saw the gauntlet was the same, like it was still there, I was like, what in the world is going on here?
Did they
But
explain why it was fake at all? I feel like there was an explanation, but they didn't confirm it.
No, Hella. She was like, just it was like a replica. She like when she went into
Oh yeah, that's right.
she was like children's toy or a replica or whatever, and then she just pushed
Yeah.
it over. It it wasn't Cuba Gooding Jr., my guy.
Good
um,
actor, but that wasn't him.
yeah, good actor for real. Terrence Howard, that's who it is.
That's
Terrence
what it is.
Howard. Yeah. Um, Cuba Gooding Jr., bro. That would have been. I can't even imagine him being War Machine. That would have been fucking crazy. Oh, I said, "Whoops." It's all good, bro. But yeah, I think Nikki might be onto something though if they chose to show the gauntlet so predominantly.
I didn't even see that.
Oh, for real? Okay, let me
Yeah.
see.
When did they do that?
When they were when they were walking through the room, I think showing like going to Odin or whatever.
After Odin slept.
Yeah, like that part, like around there. Let's see. Let's
go to my
see.
player. Yeah, when they walked past it. Yeah, I didn't even recognize that.
Here we go. Found it. Let's mute this real quick. Are you guys on the West Coast? Yes, we are. Yes, we are, my brother. Here we go. It's right here. See?
Oh wow, yeah. So that's the fake one that Hella basically points out.
And then it has all the Infinity Stones and everything.
Mhm.
But it was just really weird that they chose to still.
Yeah. This one. I don't know. It's not that. I feel like because this one has the most Easter eggs of everything that we've seen so far.
Yeah, that's true.
And it just might have been a coincidence in that it was just another Easter egg.
But this is why I don't think it's a coincidence. Because we saw Ultron pop up at the end with Infinity Stones as well. So it's just like either like you're saying it's a coincidence or it was like a foreshadowing to what was also to come.
Like maybe
which I could see.
Like another what if and a what if, like what if those were actually real? On top of what if Thor was an only child?
That's true.
That could
and
be
then
the situation as well.
I still agree with what you were saying with maybe Ultron is from another universe because he wouldn't be able to be Vision technically without Thor because that's how he becomes Vision in this universe is because Thor, Iron Man, and Bruce Banner all work together to create Vision in the MCU at least. You know what I mean? So it's if that didn't happen here, then it happened somewhere else and the whole 9 yards, and then we go back to the domino effect.
Yeah.
Nikki says maybe Vision didn't have free will because Thor didn't strike him with his lightning in this universe. Yeah. My man said, "Beat me to it." Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. It happens real quick around here. Yeah, that's kind of I don't know, man, because it doesn't. It's just like what could happen? What's going on? Why? Maybe he's from another universe. Once again, this is another episode that leaves us wanting more.
Yeah.
Wondering what could happen and trying to figure out how this could affect the rest of the series.
And I think this is the pivotal episode that we've been waiting for. As I don't want to say the word useless, but as I guess you could say irrelevant compared to the other episodes. As irrelevant as this episode is, it's probably one of the most key episodes we've had in that it has the opportunity to connect all of them with just that 1 5-second clip of Vision coming in. And not only that, with the Watcher going like, what the fuck? Like, what? What is this?
That's what was super weird too, is how
Yeah.
he was like, wait a minute. Okay, or not. Like it was like, bro, you've known everything that's been going on in all of these episodes. Like you haven't been confused about anything.
Yeah.
Like he was sad about the decisions that people were making, but
Yeah.
he was never confused or surprised, I guess you
Yeah.
could say, about what was transpiring. This is the first episode that we saw true confusion on his face as to what was actually going on.
Hmm.
And it was like, dang, that's crazy. Um, Nikki G Fly says, I'm wondering how Doctor Strange gets out of his little destroyed universe, and I agree this episode is key. I'm pretty
To
sure the
defeat,
Watcher is gonna bring
yeah, bring him
everyone
back.
out. Yeah, everyone he's
Yeah.
gonna the Watcher is the only one that has enough power to do any of that type of stuff, to bring anyone out, to bring anyone in.
Mhm.
He's the only one that has
Yeah.
the capabilities basically of
To even put up a fight. I think.
merging, not necessarily merging realities, but picking people from realities and taking them
Mhm.
to other ones, since he can cohesively see all of them. I think the best way to think of the Watcher is he's like the villain from Ant-Man and the Wasp, the one that could go invisible, I guess you could say, or she was
Oh, yeah,
ripping
yeah,
through
yeah.
multiple realities, but he does
Mhm.
that in a cohesive way. Uh, then they said, "Love Howard the Duck in this series. He keeps popping up, and I hope they give him a solo movie someday."
You know
Yeah,
what?
man. I hope they give him I think they're gonna give him a Hulu show, if anything.
That was one of the Hulu shows that were supposed to happen, but it got canceled.
Mm.
And like we were talking about before when we did our reaction
Oh.
to Hit Monkey today, which you guys will see probably tomorrow, possibly. Um,
Mhm.
that show, along with the Modok show, were probably the only two shows that were saved after Kevin Feige took over the or Marvel TV thing.
Mm.
But Howard the Duck was definitely one of the projects they wanted to do, but it got cut off. With that said, I think Seth Green actually completed an entire series with Howard the Duck. It's just not likely that it's going to be ever seen. And Seth Green is actually the one who played Howard the Duck in this episode. Um,
Mm.
so, and that's something he's been pretty passionate about doing. And hopefully we can get to see that one day, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
Bro, if the Watcher becomes the multiverse Nick Fury, I owe you both $5. Hey, man, we accept donations on our website,
Oh yeah.
www.marvelbros.com. So,
Hey, I'm just warning you now, Nikki. You know, we're pretty good with this. All right.
we are pretty good with this. Between me and this guy, our record is pretty
I
pretty
basically
good.
shot for shot called Falcon Winter Soldier. I'm not even exaggerating. Go
Yeah.
back to the stream, and you could hear Sensei's frustration. Is like, how did this dude?
Yeah,
No,
and then
right?
our boy Justice was in the comments tripping too, like, what in the world? Uh
Yo,
Howard the Duck would be a hit. Martinis across the universe, and wow, I didn't know that. I haven't heard Seth Green in a minute.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
and
that was Seth Green as Seth Green, not
yeah,
like, you know what I mean. Like that was just Seth Green being his normal Seth Green self, like just talking, bro.
hmm
But I think
I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
I am super excited for everything to come. I hope, because this was episode 7, and I think there's 10, so we have
Hmm.
3 more, and I'm pretty sure with these last 3, like the next one we have is either going to be like another small filler, or these last 3 are just going to be like a 3-part series. Like,
Yeah,
bro, what if the next episode is like, what if like Multiverse Avengers Part 1?
multiverse. I feel like that'd make
You know what
fun.
I mean?
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Or what if the Guardians of the Multiverse Part
Hmm.
1? Like,
Yeah,
yo, that would be
I'm
amazing.
telling you, bro. I have a feeling. I have a feeling. I just feel like this is the episode that brings everything together. All right.
Yeah,
And
I
I
feel
think next
too.
episode is either going to show us how Vision, Ultron, or I don't even. What do you call him? Vision Ultimate or like Ultimate?
I don't know. I think he's just like Ultron. I think he's like Ultron Prime or something. That's
That
literally like the Ultron that we see
that
in
sounds the coolest, so I'm gonna call him Ultron Prime. Ultron Prime. uh, Ultron Prime. I forgot where I was going with that. I'm so upset. It's the first time it's happened in a long time. I apologize.
It is the first time it's happened. It's been a while.
If you guys are new to the channel, happens a lot. I just, I'm like, yo, I got the best thing right now, right? And all of a sudden, I'm just like, I forgot.
Here we go.
And that was one of those moments. I apologize.
Here we go.
Ultron Prime just sounds cool, bro.
Ultron Prime sounds amazing.
It just sounds so cool.
My man Nikki said, I'd pay good money to have a podcast with you guys about Marvel. Being on here is the best day of the week. Hey man, we're live a lot, man. Usually every Sunday about the latest news of pop culture and all that good stuff. Tune in with us. And join the Discord, bro. You might be able to jump in an episode. It's possible. We've done it before. I think it was with what was that with? Was it with
Loki? Episode 2.
Yeah, Loki episode 2. We had a few people in the Discord come on the show, and it was a good time debating and whatnot. Someone was drunk though, so it was real debates, but it was a good time still. I wonder if Ultron is the multiverse threat. That would be awesome.
100%.
Could you imagine it be him transfer over into the multiverse of madness as well, though? That would be awesome.
Hey, maybe, and that's why I was thinking maybe we'll see the Doctor Strange Supreme pop up somehow. Maybe he's like in a poster or like hiding in the shadows or something. Maybe he's just looking for people, or he's being shady and was like, "Ooh, another Doctor Strange, more prey." Like,
literally, right?
But maybe hopefully he learned from his mistake with what he did. It
is possible.
So, that's a good question, Nikki. That's something we've been talking about.
Nikki said, "Do you think they'll pull this into the main MCU?" That is ever since Tom Hiddleston said on the Tonight Show while promoting Loki, he said something about this show being MCU canon. And then there has been more reports that we actually reported on our pop culture news update about Captain Carter being in the Illuminati live action. If it's a possibility, not if that's true. It was a rumor though. It was a rumor of a live action Illuminati appearing. I think it was in the Multiverse of Madness, and it was going to be featuring Captain Carter as one of the members instead of the other people that we know to be in it right now. I can't remember the exact people that were in it right now, but I know she was amongst the names of them. So, and then we were like trying to figure out how would they bring Captain Carter into the MCU, because that actress is a petite actress. Really, she's not a big buff one, So I would be down for it. I think Christian, you'd be down for that as well.
100%.
I think the main one that they could do is Doctor Strange, because after we watched that episode, my immediate theory, after watching the episode, was that the Doctor Strange we saw in that What If episode is the Doctor Strange that we saw in the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, and that's why he was acting so weird, is because it wasn't the Doctor Strange that we know. It is actually the Doctor Strange that was from the What Ifs, the What If episode. But who knows what could happen, and who knows what's going on. I think it would be a dope way to include him in it or whatever. A dope way to transition that over, I guess you could say.
100%.
Doctor Strange could be trapped in that box. Oh, snap. Oh shit, son.
Wait.
Oh, you're
Oh,
dumb right. The
the
box
box.
that he
Yeah.
when he hits Peter and then he does the astral projection thing when he has the
Mhm.
box in his hand, that definitely could be the other Doctor Strange that's trapped in there.
Mhm.
Whoa. All right, Nikki, I see you, my boy.
Okay.
Adding on to the
Potential,
theories, man.
potential, man. I see potential. I see potential. Man, I had such a good time with this episode, man. I really did. Little,
Peter's fighting Nick Strange.
I will say it is a little unsettling that it was a filler, but it was a filler with a key. And I really appreciate
It's
that. So
only a filler if the end doesn't come up again. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like if the next episode is like a part one continuation of the last one, then
yeah,
this isn't a filler at all. This is a key
yeah. This is a
moment. This is
key
Ant
episode.
Man. This is the
Yeah,
Ant Man episode of the
yeah,
entire series. You know, no one cares about it until the Quantum Realm comes out and is the key to saving everyone in
yep,
Avengers Endgame. You know.
100%. But I'm
But I
just
agree
excited
with
for
you.
what's to
I had
come,
a
man.
ball with this episode as well, man. It was a great
Hmm.
time. I don't think we were ever so confused, like uh, you know what I mean? Like I don't think
Hmm.
we've ever been so confused as we were with this episode with the different things that were happening. We were like,
Yeah,
wait, what? Like
yeah,
it was like a there's no way this shit is gonna be this corny right now. You know what I mean? It
yeah,
was kind of that type of feel, but it was still a fun time. I
yeah.
think we kind of felt this was like the Space Jam too of of the What If series so far. You know,
Hmm.
we had a good time. It was a fun watch,
Hmm.
but
I
overall, it was kind of a waste of time.
I think the best way to put it is it wasn't worth staying up till midnight to
Mm.
watch. That's like next day
Ooh,
morning
yeah,
episode. What you know?
yes,
Um, every episode up until now, has been,
yeah.
I think, worthy of a midnight watch. This one is probably the least midnight watch worthy.
I
Um,
definitely agree.
you know,
I think our time
that's
would have
probably the
been better spent watching the Star Wars Vision
yeah,
episode. You know what I mean? Like,
but that's probably the best way we could put it in terms of if it's important to watch.
but
But
if we didn't
it's
watch this
important though.
episode, we wouldn't have met you, Nikki. So
Yeah,
it was all
yeah,
worth it.
yeah. But yeah, that's about all I got. I mean,
No, that's all I got too. You know
yeah,
what I mean? We spent a lot of this time talking about other things that wasn't just what if. You know?
yeah. Before we head out, for everyone who's joining us new, and for all those who've been here before, please make sure to follow us on all of our social medias at Marvel Bros 23 on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and our YouTube channel. We post all of our content and much more.
That's right. And you can also watch us live right now on our website at www.marvelbros.com, where you can purchase our merchandise or you can donate to us to help what we do here. And if you go to our website, you can also follow the link to join our Discord, where we always have open discussions about all things, about everything, literally
Yep.
Marvel, DC, everything. Akash, if you're still in here, we know you've been keeping up with all the DC movies and watching
Oh
them. We know
yes.
you've been loving them, bro. It's awesome to see that you haven't watched them and see you come to grasp all the ones that there are. And even though they're not as good as the MCU, it's still dope that you've been catching on and
Yes.
watching them. Make sure you guys always join the conversation and comment down below because we always like to include you guys in the discussion that we're having literally all the time.
Yeah. Also, Akash, don't forget to watch the Dark Knight trilogy. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, we definitely didn't put the Dark Knight trilogy in.
It's not necessarily linked, but it's definitely something that deserves to be watched.
Yeah, the Dark Knight trilogy is like the X-Men series of
but
of
done
everything.
right.
But done right,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's the best way to put it.
Yo, have you watched Titans yet? Before we get out of here, have you watched Titans at all? Titans season 3 has really started to capitalize on the detectiveness behind Robin and Batman. I'd like to say, it's been pretty impeccable, you guys. Thank you everyone for tuning in with us tonight. It's been a great time with you guys. The episode was subpar, but everything else was amazing. The vibes have been vibey. And yeah, we will see you guys, if not later this week, with Star Wars Visions. We might go live again with Star Wars Visions sometime this week. We might not. No idea about that. But if not, we'll see you guys on Sunday with our pop culture news update. Keeping up with all the stuff that's been going on. We appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. We'll see you on the next one.
Peace.
Oh. Boom.
All of Marvel's pop culture news updates are now available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. You can also watch Marvel's live every Sunday on Facebook.com, or you can watch them on YouTube, where we upload regularly. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Marvel's23 to keep up with all things Marvel and everything pop culture.